even though they're separated by time, they're separated by distance, well, there's not actually time or distance in the quantum world or in the spiritual dimension.
So glad to have you here for Insights with Marcia. We have a very special guest, Dr. Charity Kayembe, and her organization is Glory Waves. So think waves of potential, think quantum physics. Everybody's interested in it now, but everybody kind of goes cross-eyed when they think, what is quantum physics? So Charity's going to do an amazing job of helping us understand principles of quantum physics and how they apply to our everyday life. And I'll give you one example. I read a book and then I had to go on YouTube and watch a video about the observer effect. And basically, the one thing I think I gleaned, and Charity's going to help me with the observer effect, is we collapse a wave, I'll make sure I got it right, of potential by observing it. So when I learned that, I decided my business Naturally Slim, I said, I want it to grow. So I'm going to see the name Naturally Slim on the side of a building. I will make it when my name's on the side of a building. So I observed to collapse it. And one day the name was on the side of the building. So Charity, you're the real expert in all of this. Can you talk about observing to collapse and superposition and all that kind of stuff and how we can use it today? Because it is fascinating. So take it away.
Oh, thank you so much, Marcia. It is a pleasure to be with you. I've been looking forward to this, talking with you and talking about one of my most favorite subjects. Yes, quantum physics. It's actually the science of the invisible. Normal classical physics, that's what we can see in this macroscopic world. But quantum is small and tiny and you can't see it. So like you couldn't see your name on a building physically in this world, but you looked in your imagination in this invisible realm where there is every potential available at any moment in time. That's actually the quantum physicist's definition of the quantum realm. Any potential is available at every moment in time. So you could be wealthy, you could be poor, you could be healthy, you could be sick, you could have your name on a building or not. All of these potentials, but then you locked in on it with the observer effect, which a simple kind of definition of it is just when we look at something, we change it. Just our very act of observing it makes it collapse from this invisible potential in this unseen dimension of the quantum kind of supernatural space. Oh, now it's manifested, it's realized, it's literally, there's a building, there's your name on it. So that's such a great example of taking kind of something kind of a little like, what? Quantum physics, observer effect, but that's why it's practical. That's why you want to understand it, how you can apply it, make it relevant, and make your business be a success by using it.
Okay. So I was getting it right. So there's so many things, whatever we observe changes, and we can collapse those waves of potential into something. I'll try to use it to manage my mind. Because our minds, just go off on any kind of crazy thing all day long. And I'll start thinking something that may be negative. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What do you want to collapse? What do you want to bring into your reality? So I think it's a lot about guarding our thoughts all day long. What do you think?
It's definitely about guarding our thoughts and also being very mindful of the pictures that we're looking at. Because all day long, we are going through life with a picture of and a thought, and that also informs our feelings. So then an emotion of either success or failure, of wealth or poverty, of sickness or health. We have this picture in our mind. So for example, if I'm overweight, I'm wanting to use Naturally Slim, I'm wanting to get fit and healthy, I don't just want to look at my physical body, maybe it's sick, maybe it has extra weight. I want to look at this invisible potential of my whew, very strong, lean, healthy, fit body. That's a potential that I see in this quantum world. It's available to me because any possibility is available to me at any moment in time. And I'm going to set my intention on that. I'm not going to look at the things that are seen. I'm going to look at the things that are unseen. Set our mind on the spirit or the quantum world, set our mind on things above, and then, oh, it's going to change it. According to quantum physics, the observer effect, it's the most foundational principle in quantum physics. It's actually the most mysterious and kind of confusing. But once we understand what it means, we can take any potential, any probability, and we can manifest it. We can realize it and actualize it in our localized dimension of time and space. So we can actually use this principle to collapse. Oh, there's my strong, healthy body. I'm going to see it. I'm going to speak health. I'm going to see health. I'm going to feel health. Oh, and then I'm going to collapse. They call that wave function collapse. So it's just a quantum physics term that means realize or conduit or manifest. But if we want to use the quantum physics term, we can say, oh, we collapse it. So we can just collapse that healthy body, collapse that successful business or your name on the side of a building. So yes, collapse that.
Okay. That makes such good sense because, you think about it, my parents both always gave me motivational books and how to prosper books and how to get what you wanted out of life, and it was basically a lot of the same principles that we're just talking about, and over the past couple of decades, people have been into vision boards. They'll say they get something. I know I did it a long time ago. There was a particular house I wanted, and took a picture of it, actually a type of house. I liked this cottage look. Took a picture of it, and I just kept that in my mind, and I guess that helped collapse the wave of potential, which is the net. Yeah, so what do you think about that? What do you think of how people today are doing vision boards and things of that nature?
I love it. Absolutely. You know, we can see what God sees. God sees the end from the beginning. So he sees you in that house, or he sees you with that successful business, or he sees you in that healthy body. And then if we can see what God sees in our imagination, then we'll feel how he feels. God's never stressed out. We can get into those kingdom emotions of peace and joy and faith and gratitude, right? And so that's what we can do. A vision board, we can have a vision board in our imagination, or we can have it physically. Yes, a screensaver. We can have put up on our fridge. So it's just constantly reminding ourselves, oh, this is what we're going for. And so it does things to us physiologically, it does things to the universe. It's an interactive universe. There's a guy named John Wheeler. He was a theoretical physicist, contemporary of Einstein. And he said, it's not like the world is static, like we just live in this world. He said it's a participatory universe. And he was referring to this observer effect because we change things by looking at them. So it's our attention, it's our intention, it's our visualization, and then we choose things by seeing them with our physical eyes, seeing them in our mind's eye with our imagination. And then, yes, we can manifest them and release them and collapse them, just like you did with that cottage house.
Okay, and it resonated with me when you just said God sees the end before the beginning, because I'm in the process of writing a book about my journey with Naturally Slim. And I realized if I had known what it took to get to the end at the beginning, I would have gone running and screaming. There's so many details. You've got to get an office, you've got to get an app, you've got to write manuals. There's just this like, ah. So I think it's really neat that you can just ask for an end. And I know, like in the mornings, I like to have quiet time, and it says be still. And sometimes when I just be still, the images that come in my mind, I'm like, oh, that that looks like it could be my end. That might be what I need to collapse. And during that quiet time, I just get the images of what it is to collapse. And I love the end before the beginning. And I think people could probably even apply that. Well, and this is kind of a modification of it. I used to tell people in my weight loss classes, I'd say, go find a picture of yourself at a weight you liked, that you really enjoyed that weight, and put it somewhere where you see it every day and start seeing yourself that way. And then subconsciously, when you go to pick up a cookie, you kind of go, no, that's not me. I'm this person. So yeah, it all just makes such sense, and we thought somebody just invented it the last, few decades in a self-help book, and it's a biblical principle, it's in the scriptures thousands of years ago, right?
You're right. Yes, over and over in scripture, God invites us to look at those unseen potentials. He says, don't even look at the things that are seen, look at the things that are unseen. Because the things that are seen, they're temporary. But the things that are unseen are eternal. And so that's a way we can even look into the spirit realm. Some people call it the quantum realm. I look at it as the spirit realm, that dimension, and then we can see that potential in heaven of whatever it is, the healthy body, the blessed finances, and then we can be grateful for it because we see the end in mind. I mean, even I think almost any successful even athlete, right? I remember Andre Agassi when he won Wimbledon. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you just won Wimbledon for the first time. How does it feel?" And he's like, I've won it 1,000 times in my imagination. She's like, I knew exactly how it would feel because I already felt this way. Anybody who won a gold medal, doing anything, they had rehearsed that in their mind, their imagination. Your body doesn't know something that you have imagined with a lot of emotion versus actually doing it. So we are literally, rewiring neural pathways. We're doing things physiologically. We're projecting energetic frequencies into the universe that's going to react to us. So there's like so many different really powerful things that are going on when we do exactly what you said. We visualize with the end in mind and get it from God's perspective. Just like you said, that's the best because he wants exceedingly abundantly more for us than we could even ask or think or imagine. So his vision and version of our situation, it's always even better for us than we could even want for ourselves because he's a good God and he's our dad. And so he always wants to bless us with every good thing. So I love that you kind of get those images. Oh, that's like a download from heaven. So you can literally partner with God and co-create heaven on earth in your own life.
If you love Insights with Marcia and you want even more, I have something for you. Go to my Patreon page, and there you'll be able to watch ad-free episodes that come out early, bonus content every week, my personal show notes, and you may even have a chance to get your questions answered on the podcast. So for $5, $10, or $20 a month, we will keep this conversation going. So go to patreon.com/insightswithmarcia, patreon.com/insightswithmarcia. And let's have some fun. Let's keep the conversation going. I hope to see you there. Love it. And I remember hearing a story a long time ago. A guy I knew, and he was playing football. He had just gotten to college, and he was playing. And he said, I was just lay in bed every night, all beaten up. And he said, I realized I couldn't even see myself making the right kind of tackle in my mind. So he rehearsed it all night in his mind and went back the next day and did it perfectly. And I've thought about that and practiced that principle. But you just nailed it with the emotion. You have to attach emotion to it to really cement it. So, yeah. Like here I am with a new podcast, all of y'all watching Insights with Marcia, and I'm just going to feel the emotion of seeing a whole bunch of views and all that. I'm going to see that in my mind and attach the emotion. Yeah. I know you and I have talked before the show because you have something called the energy of awesome, and that's about all we'll tell them unless you want to tell them a little bit more that we're going to do a whole segment on. And it also has to do with connecting with emotions. And we are such a society that does not want to feel your emotions, you know? Well, in my program, Naturally Slim, we had emotional eaters. That's what we called each other, emotional eaters. And we had to practice. I had to teach people what the emotions were and how to find them because we're like, somebody comes in, my girlfriend broke up with me. Oh, yeah, don't be sad. It's going to be okay. Instead of, that sucks. Dang. So I love how you just connected emotions with what we want to see and collapse into reality. That's such a neat thing for the viewers to hear. So now, so tell them what they ought to do. Give them a little practical exercise, which you really kind of did, as far as seeing and feeling the emotion. Think of something somebody would want to do. Even like if it was a young person needing to pass their driver's test.
Yeah. So definitely. So you can fast forward to after the driver's test. In your imagination, in your mind's eye, just quiet down, close your eyes, look at the things that are unseen, right? And oh, how am I going to feel when I have passed the driver's test? Oh my goodness, I have my license. I am seeing my license. I am feeling I'm going to have such freedom now. I don't need to rely on my parents to chauffeur me. So you're getting into those emotions of gratitude, of excitement. It doesn't take a lot of faith because you're seeing it is already done. So make sure we go forward far enough in the future. We've already won the game. We've already, gotten the contract that we bid on. We've already gotten the driver's license, right? And so then it's like, oh, now I'm so grateful. I'm relieved. I'm thankful. I'm full of faith. And those emotions, they will supernaturally accelerate the collapse of that potential and probability into actuality in your everyday life.
Perfect. Perfect. I have a couple grandsons that may need to start practicing their football in their heads first. And when you think about it, we got to think about something. We might as well practice the positives instead of the negatives. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I have another good question for you. Do you think there are different dimensions? We kind of gathered some questions for you beforehand. Do you think there are different dimensions? What does quantum physics say about that?
Mm. Well, I can always just defer to Einstein. If in doubt, let's say, what did that genius have to say about it? And Einstein actually said that the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. So the field, that is like the quantum realm, this unseen dimension. I would say the spiritual world. So I think it's just a lot of different words for kind of the same thing. And he said, okay, the field, the unseen dimension, it's the sole governing agency. That means it influences, it impacts, it kind of informs and instructs and kind of controls the particle, which is matter. That's everything you see in the physical dimension. So he was saying, oh, energy, that's what's influencing matter. He was saying the spiritual dimension, that's what informs and impacts this physical world. So, I think we all do pretty much believe that because that's like the power of prayer, right? We don't really see prayer, but we believe it's powerful. Everything that we're saying, we have the faith, again, that energy of awesome that we feel that infuses our prayers, the gratitude, seeing it as already done. So yes, that's an example of another dimension influencing this dimension. And I kind of just see it, it's sort of like, well, remember the movie The Matrix? Back a minute ago. But it was sort of a picture. Everybody thought this physical world they were living was real, but nope, it was not real. Like there was a whole nother more real realm. And that's kind of how it is right now. Like we feel like this physical world compared to the spirit world, it's like, yes, this is real, but the physical world, it's like 2 inches compared to a million miles. The spirit realm, it's infinite, it's eternal, and we just get tastes of it, glimpses of it. But we know that we're not just, we're not human beings that have temporary spiritual experiences. We are really spirit beings, and we're just having a temporary human experience. So when we can flip that and just start living to this unseen dimension, this invisible kingdom that's around us, then all of a sudden we are a little bit more powerful and effective. And just like you live to that, oh, invisible potential of your name on the building. And then, oh, that just brought that into this physical dimension.
Very cool. Yeah, I heard somebody say, and really you just said it in essence, probably the spiritual world, the quantum world, all that kind of stuff, the unseen is more real than what we're experiencing right now. And would it be true to say quantum physics is we're kind of understanding some of the behind the scenes of how everything works and how we apply it to our life? Yeah. Okay.
Think that's a great way to put it. Yes. I mean, God kind of talked about these things, like you said, in scripture. And now that quantum physics is catching up with what he said in the Bible, now we're like, oh, that's a real thing. Now I'll kind of, put it to work. But it's cool when it can kind of explain, we can almost sort of reverse engineer some miracles when we realize the principles that God has put into the universe that anybody can use, just like a law of gravity that works for anybody, and so does the principles of the observer effect, for example. When we understand it, then we can kind of proactively use it to our advantage, and even in our, yeah, in every area of our lives, just bring the blessings, the health, the prosperity, everything that God wants for us, um by collapsing them into our world.
Love it. Okay, I have another question from the audience, so to speak. Explain quantum entanglement and relationships. So there's some people that have heard phrases like, superposition, collapsing. Now, how about quantum entanglement and relationships? How? Because I think that might help explain it when you talk about a relationship. Tell us about quantum entanglement and relationships.
Yes. So again, that's like a scientific principle, but how is it relevant to our everyday life? So that is a great question. And we sometimes think that we are separate, but we're really not. Science says that we're connected, faith says that we're connected. And when something is entangled, they're connected. And then when you know something about one thing, you know something about the other thing. So for example, like they say, okay, for example, let's quantum entangle two quarters, 25-cent pieces. And so, okay, once, and then you can separate them, but they are always connected, even though they're separated by time, they're separated by distance. Well, there's not actually time or distance in the quantum world or in the spiritual dimension. So anything that happens to one of those quarters, it immediately and simultaneously affects the other quarter. So if this quarter spins heads, then the other quarter that it is entangled with, it's tails. And when this one is heads, then the other one is tails. They constantly are affecting each other. And when you know about one, you know about the other. And we see this like in the New Testament. I mean, Jesus talks about, well, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. He was quantum entangled with God. We are quantum entangled with God. In him we live and move and have our being. We are even quantum entangled with each other. We're connected in the spirit. And I think one way, just very simple, if you look right here at the bottom of my screen, it looks like I have four fingers and it looks, oh my gosh, they're so separate. They're independent. Oh, well, this is how it looks in this physical world, but oh, this is the spirit realm. Look, it's all the same. It's all one. It's all entangled. It's all connected. It's all one. It looks like it's separate. Not really. So that's just a very simple analogy to realize maybe in this physical world, it looks like there's distance and separation between each other, between us and God, but separateness is an illusion, and we're quantum entangled.
I I like that. I like that because I don't know if this would be a version of it. I have a twin brother. Now, of course, being a twin brother is the same thing as a regular brother. But still, when we were kids, I guess we'd been so close from the womb on. I felt like there was quantum entanglement. We just seemed to almost know what the other one was thinking and things like that. Does that work for one?
Absolutely. That's a perfect example. Because, yes, friends are connected, siblings even more connected, but twins, that's like next level. That is really cool. I love that. Yes. And the same thing. like you mentioned, even a parent and child too. A child could be overseas and all of a sudden the mother is like, oh my goodness, I should, they think of this. Oh, I should pray for it. And then they realize, oh, their son was over, and they were almost having a car accident. But then, oh, that intuition, because they're connected in the spirit and there is no time or distance in this quantum spiritual dimension. So yes, that's a great example.
Now that's a good example. I've heard of several people tell me a story. I thought about somebody and felt like I ought to pray for them and then check on them, and sure enough, something was going on. Okay. Here's another question. Is time real or just an illusion? Because I know I love time travel shows. They're my favorite. And it seems like they're on for a year and then they get canceled. And I'm like, it was so much fun to think about traveling in time. So is it real? Is it an illusion? What is it?
Well, see, I think that's such a great question because you're right. When we look at movies about why is time travel so popular? Why are superheroes movies so popular? Well, because I think there's a really big element of truth to all of these things because yeah, we were never created to be under the constriction of time. We were created to without limits or boundaries because we're created in the image of God. That's why we want to be superheroes, and that's why we want to time travel. We're like, ooh, limits? Yeah, no thanks. Not really a fan of. Again, we could just totally. I mean, we can look at scripture, we can look at science. Einstein, he said, well, this whole distinction between past and present and future. He's just like, oh, it's just like a stubborn, persistent illusion. He's like this whole linear concept of time, yet not really a thing. Instead, it's like this eternal now. It's all at the same time. And so it's kind of hard to wrap our natural mind around it. But we do see, examples of it, in science and in scripture. And I mean, one kind of really cool it's a research study that they did. I mean, we were talking about the power of prayer, and there was this group. It was done in Israel, I think, and they've done experiments, and you pray for people. There's like this, like 100, patients' files, and okay, 50 of them got prayed for, 50 of them didn't. And you would think, as you would imagine, oh, the 50 who got prayer, they got better quicker, and that was true. They did. They got out of the hospital faster, less infections, less of them died. But the really cool thing about that experiment was, oh, these people were in the hospital like 10 years prior. So, oh my goodness, these prayers traveled back in time because time is very fluid and flexible, and it affected something that was in the past because there really isn't a past. It's not a thing. It's all the eternal now. So we realize, oh my goodness, we can impact anything. That again takes us to the fundamental understanding of quantum physics, that any possibility is available at every moment in time because time is just an illusion.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now, any possibility, because if these were, and I remember asking you just to make sure I got it, like, they went and grabbed 100 charts, because I've had to go down to the charting room before, I forgot to sign something or whatever in the hospital, and they just randomly put 50 charts here and 50 charts here, and then they prayed over one set and not the other, and then they went and dug in the charts and looked at outcomes, and the prayers were better, but these were 10-year-old charts. That is potential to the maximum. It really does say, yeah, you can give everything up to prayer. Wow. Okay. So maybe this question will kind of tie into that. I'm not sure. I'm like, my head's spinning right now. There's so much potential. Okay. Here's the question. If time is not as rigid as we think, what would it mean for regrets from your past or fear of the future?
We don't have to live with either of those things. We don't have to have regrets, and we don't have to have fear. I'm a big fan of living in peace and joy. And so this is a kind of a practical way. We all want to live in those emotions. We all want to feel those things, but how do we do it? Well, we realize, okay, well, let's see, God's vision and version of the situation. And he wanted those people healed back then. Oh, well, let's partner with him in that, and so I think of we're talking about, people who are sick getting healed. And so an example of kind of using the observer effect in this way without the confines of distance or time. I had a student, she was a medical missionary overseas, and she was trying to help this little girl, 4-year-old girl, but she just kept getting sicker and sicker. She didn't have any medicine that could help her. So she just sent the little girl home because there was nothing else she could do in the natural. But then she prayed. And so, in her imagination, in the quantum realm that is the unseen, invisible dimension, she saw Jesus. And he went over to the little girl. She saw this and in her vision, and he put his hands on the little girl and he healed her. And so she partnered with that picture. She said yes to it. She said, "Thank you, Jesus, that you love this girl. Thank you that you've healed her." And so she got into those emotions of faith and gratitude because of what she was looking at, because our focus informs our emotions. So she was seeing it, and her vision, that was a bridge upon which then this blessing could cross, right? That visual agreement, those emotions kind of infused her prayers, supernatural magnets to collapse it. And so she prayed until she had peace in her heart. The next day she calls, it's all at a distance, right? She calls the family of the little girl just to check on her. And they said, "You know what? It's the most amazing thing." She was just lying in bed. She had no energy. She was so sick. And then all of a sudden, she jumped out of bed, full of life, full of energy, started playing with the other kids. They're like, "We have our little girl back." And she asked, "Well, what time was that?" And that was just happened to be the time that she was with the Lord in her, quantum spiritual dimension visionary encounter. And so if we wanted to use kind of quantum physics terms, she was the observer, right? She was the quantum observer of Jesus. There's this heavenly potential of healing and of health and life for this girl. She partnered with God in co-creating that reality, right? She partnered with heaven to really bring heaven to earth. And so she collapsed the healing through the vision, through the power of those kingdom emotions. And then the little girl, she was better from that day and going forward. So that's another example of how, these energetic frequencies of our prayers and our visualizations, they definitely are not confined by space and time, because those are constructs that don't even exist in the quantum world.
I like that. I like that. That's pretty cool. That's a great story. That's neat. And you experienced it firsthand. Wow. Okay, got a couple more questions for you. Um, is what's the difference between manifestation versus faith? And I know you were saying you were relating it to dreams or something to me once when you were trying to teach me.
Well, I think there are a lot of similarities. Um, and I know that what you said, I loved how you explained it, that, maybe in your quiet times in the morning, you'll just be still and you have these spontaneous images or thoughts or ideas or impressions or feelings that come to you. And that's awesome. God speaks into the atmosphere, and whoever is listening picks up on those frequencies and those signals and those messages. And I think that's ideal, because he wants more for us than we even want for ourselves. Just like any doting father, if he wants to give the best to his kids, right? And think of God, he has all the resources in the universe and he withholds no good thing from his children. So we can ask God. So I would say, to kind of bring faith into it, I want to defer to God and say, "Hey, well, what is your vision of my health?" Right? And what is your vision of my finances? What is your version of this relationship? Right? And he doesn't just want enough. it's more than enough. He's a God of abundance. He's a God of overflow. And he doesn't just want us, healthy. He wants us thriving and vibrant. And he just doesn't want us to have enough to get by. Oh, he wants us to have abundance and prosperity. And, he doesn't just want us to be okay with being alone. We feel loved. We are loving. We're in these blessed relationships. So I definitely would use, time during the day, quiet time in the morning, or even, like you said, dreams. I'm a big fan of hearing God through your dreams at night. And that can be actually like God initiating a conversation with you. He gives you a dream at night and you kind of just decode it and decrypt it to get God's message through it. And then it can actually be a vision for your future. He's like, this is what I have for you. I want this awesome, blessed, amazing outcome. It's an invitation. Would you like to partner with me in this? Do you want to partner with heaven and co-create this reality in your world? And then you can say yes to it by meditating on that, by pondering that picture, getting into those emotions and observing to collapse that potential and possibility into actualized reality in your waking everyday life.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool. Yes, yes, yes. And I'll ask you in front of everybody, so you have to say yes. You're going to find out in a minute, you guys, that she's written a book on dream interpretation. So will you come back for that as well? Yay! Okay, okay. But I have one more question. Okay. Tell me about practical visualization in daily life. We might have kind of talked about that at the beginning, but somebody had that question, so we're going to make sure we've got it addressed. Tell me about practical visualization in everyday life.
So let's go back to I love what you've done with Naturally Slim, helping people get healthy. And so that's like a good example, I think, because maybe I have physical pain. Maybe my knee is sore and I'm overweight. And if I look at this natural world, my bum knee and my overweight body, I'm just going to be like depressed and stressed out. And so the facts might be that I'm sick, but the truth is I'm healed. Okay, that is a potential that is available in the quantum dimension. And I know that all of these potentials and possibilities are available to me at any moment in time. So I am going to choose one, right? Just the quantum world is like an ocean, right? There's all of these waves. And as a surfer, my brother, we went to Mexico to a surf camp a couple of lifetimes ago, and so I learned how to surf. And when you do that, there's all of these waves. You can choose any of them, but you lock in on one, right? And so you choose a wave to ride. And that's kind of what we do with the quantum realm. Because I can have, there's a wave of sickness. There's a wave of a broken knee that hurts and is sore. There's the overweight. Oh, there's a healthy knee. There's a strong knee. There's a thin, lean, energized version of me. That's the wave I want to ride. So I want to choose that wave. And how do I choose it? I do it by what I see, right? What I say, what I think, what I feel. But especially with our observer effect conversation, I'm going to collapse that by getting into that feeling, seeing it. Oh my goodness. I'm going to look not at the things that are seen, the overweight, sore, hurting Charity. I'm going to look at me. I'm strong. I'm seeing that. And I feel amazing because in my imagination, so I would just spend maybe like 5 minutes in the morning, first thing, 5 minutes right before I fall asleep at night. I will spend time visualizing, seeing myself. It's going to be so awesome when I can run and it's not sore, right? And when I step on the scale and it's that weight, right? And I have the energy to play with my kids and I am just seeing these pictures which are giving me these emotions. And I'm literally changing myself physiologically. And again, I am sending these signals out to the participatory universe that we're living in. And so then, my body doesn't realize I'm not this person yet. It's kind of getting a clue. We're doing this mental rehearsal. We're infusing lots of supernatural energy through the emotions. We're engaging the quantum scientific principles by visualizing it. And then eventually, because it's just like you said, it's going to help me make better choices, right? I'm not going to eat that cookie. I'm not going to eat those potato chips because wait, no, I see myself as strong, as healthy. And so little by little, it's going to inform and impact everything. And then eventually, oh, look at me. I am the strong, healthy, healed person. I had been seeing it, and now in my imagination, now I've collapsed it into reality, this physical world. So see, at first we create everything twice, right? First, we create it in our imagination, a spirit-inspired potential in that dimension, and then we're creating it in this physical dimension when it collapses into our world.
I love it. I love it. And I think you basically just gave the audience an assignment. They need to get some note cards like I have or something and write down a few of the things you want in your life. Put it somewhere where you can see it, even if it's just new car, whatever it is, um, graduate school. And then I like it before you go to bed and when you get up in the morning, just spend a little time closing your eyes and just seeing it. And I don't think we can dream it too big. You cannot dream it too big. What's the worst that can happen if you dream it big? You just might get it, you know? So I think that's a great assignment. Just I'd love it if some of y'all did it and put in the comments what you're finding out because it was what I did, kind of what I did to build my company. But I said I lack the emotion part. I didn't know about that. So I'm going to be just laying there in bed when I wake up in the morning, just smiling and seeing it in my mind. That's so great. I love it. It's practical and it works. And like we were saying, you have glory waves. What a wonderful name because you're seeing glory, wonderful things, and you just see all that waves of potentiality and you show it. I mean, you are vibrant and alive, and we've never had a boring conversation. And it's always full of energy and the things that you're excited about and are collapsing, and it's fabulous. And I think other people would like more of you as well. So, you want to share some of your books and your website with us?
I would be happy to. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. So we talked about, okay, this is my first book. I co-authored it with my dad, Hearing God Through Your Dreams, Understanding the Language That God Speaks at Night. So this is how God speaks even through the crazy dreams, the weird dreams you don't want to tell anybody about. Those are the dreams he's speaking through, and they're not really strange. They're just symbolic, and the message is, in fact, sacred. So this teaches you how to be your own master interpreter. We even have an app you can download free. It's called Dream Keys. Keys like unlock a door.
And I'm going to interrupt you for a second and say, one of my daughters would have a dream and call me, and I would go through your guidelines of how to interpret a dream, and we do it together. And she would go, I'll be darned. I think that's what it meant. That's it. That's it. So it works. It really does work. It's fabulous. So I love that book. What else do you want to share with them?
Yeah. So that's visions by night, which are our dreams. And then I'm kind of obsessed with the sacred supernatural. So this is visions by day, which are angels. So do you want to meet your angels? Do you want to engage them? See them? What's your guardian angel's name? This teaches you very practically how you can actually step into the spirit world and start engaging Holy Spirit, the angels, how to encounter, experience, and engage angels in everyday life. So that one is a lot of fun. And then the last one, Overflow of the Spirit. This is the most recent book that my dad and I wrote, and it's about our sacred superpowers, where we can know things that we don't know in the natural. We can kind of see into the future. These are gifts that God gives us, and we can learn how to kind of use them and flow with his spirit again in our everyday life. Just really practical things. We've got videos, we've got classes on this in the books, and they're all on our website, which is glorywaves.org. There's lots of free stuff up there too. You can sign up for our blog, so definitely connect with us. We would love to see you online.
Awesome. Yeah, I know I read a lot of y'all's blogs and they're so fascinating. It's stuff like, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. I never thought of that. They're really, really good. So we appreciate it. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on here. I think we all learned some more about the quantum world and how we can utilize it in our everyday life and understand it better. And it's fascinating. And I cannot thank you enough, Charity, for being here today. And I hope all of you will come back for more Insights with Marcia.